Hello, I'm Joe Thompson, a member of the Board of Directors of the Rice Hotel Hughlett Tavern Foundation. Our purpose is to maintain this tavern and to educate, illuminate, and record for history the things about the tavern so that it can be enjoyed by adults and children alike. Before we get started, let me cover 10 points about the tavern. First, after Northumberland was established in 1648, there of course were legal matters that needed to be adjudicated. And those were held in judges' homes because there was no courthouse. Number two, John Hughlett was hired to build a courthouse and a jail. And as a part of that, he also built a tavern. So there was generally a tavern here in this area in 1681, almost 400 years ago. Number three, because people who came to court, this was a rural area and they came from all over the county, they needed, of course, food, drink, and occasional shelter or rooms. And the tavern fulfilled that need. Number four, over the years, the tavern served several different purposes. It was a tavern, it was an inn, it was a home for the owners, it was a business office, it was an apartment, it was a place where weddings and receptions were held. It was a multi-purpose building. In 1795, the historical records show that this building was transferred to John Hughlett III by his grandfather. Therefore, we're able to date this building to 1795 or circa 1795. And that's what you find on the sign outside of the building. Number six, in the late 1970s, the building fell into disrepair and it was closed. Later, it was donated to the Northumberland Historical Society. And of course, we now continue to own it and operate it. Number seven, local volunteers, your neighbors and mine, decided that they wanted to restore the building. And they volunteered their time, their labor, and their tools, and came in and restored this building, replacing the roofs, the walls, the infrastructure, the water, such that it is in the condition that you see it in today. Number eight, in 1992, this building became listed on the National Register of Historical Places. Number nine, it is the last and largest of the surviving taverns in Virginia, east of Fredericksburg, which is a significant lasting venue. Today, the Rice Hotel Hughlett Tavern Foundation is a major tourist attraction, attracting many people, and is run by an all-volunteer group of administrators and workers. It includes the blacksmith shop, a transportation building, a carriage house, a woodworking shop, and this main facility. Inside this facility, one of the most important pieces of the 8 guilds that also operate is the Culinary Guild. This guild covers the Tavern Cafe, as it is known. The Tavern Cafe is operated under the guidance of Jean LaChance and her group of volunteers in a Culinary Guild. And with that introduction, I will now turn the rest of this video over to Jean and the Culinary Guild. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jean LaChance. I am the cafe manager and kitchen manager and volunteer of this wonderful establishment. We opened the Tavern Cafe 3 years ago in 2017, March of 2017. This establishment has been a part of the Tavern as a restaurant many times over, but by many other people. But this is the first time that the foundation took on this task. They came to me with the hopes of developing a culinary guild, which we have done. So we have officers, president, vice president, treasurer, and so forth, that sets forth a goal to educate by running cooking classes and so forth. We have specific bakers that bake wonderful breads. We have soup makers. Everything here is made from scratch. And we are constantly teaching everyone that enters our kitchen to go a little further and going back to our grandmothers and how things are done. Everything that we do is healthy, we hope, and done with love. Our original idea was to do a marriage between the cafe and the store that you see in the rest of the building, to highlight the artisans of the area and the other guilds in this foundation. And we have certainly accomplished that. We are seeing more and more traffic every day that we're open. We are only open 3 days a week, but it draws anywhere from, I would say, 50 to 100 people in a couple of days. So that has really accomplished our goal. Our business is up 22% from the first year. And the store has shown that same growth. So we have certainly done the marriage that we set out to do. Now, I have a couple of other people I'd like to bring into the video, which is our president and our treasurer. Our president and treasurer both are in charge of the education part of our guild. I just simply make sure that everyone stays organized, and I help recruit the volunteers. We have about 22 volunteers now in our culinary guild, and constantly, of course, growing, as we are still in our infancy as being only 2 years old as a guild. So let me introduce you now to my dear friend Edie Dodge, who is my treasurer, and she can tell you even more than I can. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Edie Dodge. I am the treasurer for the Cafe Guild here at the Rice Hotel Hughlett Tavern Foundation. I've been the treasurer for 2 years. It has been my pleasure to work with these amazing women, and we are starting to be successful financially as well. And with that success comes the introduction of education into the community and among foundation members. Lynn Friel, who is our president, will speak about education within the foundation. I am reaching out to the community at this point to try and reach people who would perhaps not have a good feel for cooking or be comfortable cooking a nutritious meal.
Hi, my name is Lynn Friel. I'm president of the Culinary Guild here, and I am one of the bakers of the desserts. And one of our missions that we feel strongly about is to provide education in the culinary arts to both our members and the community at large. So we have already had classes in bread baking, pie crust. We're about to do a cheesecake class. And our next venture will be to reach out to the community, which we've already begun doing, and see if we can provide education for members of the community that may benefit. So that's really one of the big things that we're about, and we're happy that in beginning our second year, we've started reaching that goal. When we offer a class, it's advertised on the Tavern website, and the classes generally fill up pretty quickly. We offer them to our members of the Culinary Guild first, and then the wider membership of the Tavern Foundation and members, and then we open it up to the community. So we try to keep the classes small so that everybody can do hands-on. If we're making pie crust, everybody makes pie crust, and that way we can have to leave the classes at maybe 5 or 6 people in a class. So we hope that people are watching, and we always will repeat a class if it's sold out and offer it again.
As when I opened up the cafe, I was the people part of the cafe. Kate Kaufman and I were the original partners that opened it up, and Kate was the cook, and I said, I don't cook, I don't even like to cook. So after a year, Kate left us to do her art work, which she's a wonderful artist, and then Lynn showed up. And Lynn was determined to get me in the kitchen, particularly after they made me the kitchen manager. And gee whiz, now she has me cooking.
Yeah. Jeannie
She's taught me so many things.
And everybody has, and that's part of what our education mission is as well. We teach each other, we all learn from each other every single week. Jeannie makes the scones every week, for instance. Who would think?
Who would think I would bake
Yeah.
scones?
And she bakes the scones every week. She does a lot of things every week. So she's learned a lot.
I do all the sandwiches because
Yeah.
they're done on the fly, so to speak. Short order cook, who would have thought that?
Short order cook big time with fancy sandwiches. And we're famous for our Kentucky hot browns, which Jeannie brought to us straight from Kentucky.
Because I am from Kentucky.
Yep. And so we
from
have
Louisville.
those, and she makes all these short order things out there in the kitchen, and so.
But even more than that, they've taught me so many unique type of baking tips and cooking tips, and even better how to handle knives, and every type of little thing that you can imagine that a long-time cook that loves baking or cooking as an art could teach you.
Yeah. And Jeannie and one other of our members are both certified with the.
This past year, the state passed a law requiring all restaurants to have safe serve managers on property. So every restaurant now has to have a manager that is certified in safe serve. So, yes,
State level.
Yes, state level. So RCC offered that course here locally, and Hatley Bright was the teacher. We were very fortunate. She's the culinary professor over at RCC here in Northumberland, and so we were fortunate to sit through that 5-hour course
And take the test.
and take the test and pass.
Flying colors.
So we were we represent that portion of the certification here that's required. And of course, we're also inspected by the health department every quarter here.
We always pass.
But yeah, I'm happy to say that we get a glowing report from our health inspector. We try to make sure that we do a partnership with our health inspector so that he is also our teacher, which is a nice partnership with him. He teaches us a lot as well. Do we deliver?
We have pickup. We have pickup.
We have pickup, yeah. But now, the courthouse in front of us, some of the thrift stores, Corrine, our executive director, has often delivered to them.
Yeah,
Yes.
but we do have a phone number and people call, and we also take orders every week for breads, desserts. This week we have an order of 4 dozen cookies going out. So people will call and special order, especially around the holidays. If they're having company, they have us make their desserts.
We're famous for a bread called almond brioche that our baker Sandy Ward does. She's a professor of chemistry, so she is.
Yeah. She has the breads down pat.
We have many walks of life here, yes, and that's exactly what happens is when you have a professor of chemistry baking, everything is an exact science. So the almond brioche became a staple with us. Our customers kind of become unglued if we don't have it every week.
If we've run out.
Yes.
'Cause we always make it every week.
Yes, and if we decide not to make it for the week, they get a little
Yeah. Ornery.
testy. So they can order that
Yeah.
a week ahead of time when we bake extra loaves and so forth for them. So, yeah, it's a very growing business here, and with a limited menu, it's amazing.
How we've increased year over
Yes,
year.
we're actually looking to put more seats out through the store and add more up front if we can.
I was just gonna say, when we get Grubhub, we're there.
On that note,
All
thank
right.
you very much.
Thank you
You're
so
welcome,
much.
sir.